Welcome once again to Breakfast Central. The Nigerian passport has fallen by 38 places in a global passport ranking in the last 17 years. A notable ranking body, the Henley Passport Index, ranks passports according to the number of countries their holders can access visa-free or with visa on arrival program. Although the Nigerian passport gained 11 more destinations, it fell from 62nd in 2006 to 100 in 2022.
While the Green Passport now grants visa-free or visa on arrival access to 46 countries, up from the previous total of 35 in 2006, Nigerians cannot access over 181 travel destinations without either a visa or a visa on arrival or an e-visa arrangement. As of September 2022, travelers with Nigerian passports can only traverse 25 countries visa-free. Joining us now to discuss the import of this for Nigerians on a global scale is Global Affairs Analyst Collins Nweke. Good morning, Collins. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Is it really a Happy New Year to see this kind of reports for Nigerians and the unfortunate drop, it seems, of the passport on the global ranking index? Let's talk about, first of all, why, or before we talk about why we have gotten here, what are some of the things that are considered when ranking the strength of a passport?
Well, I'll keep it a bit focused, and that is basically on Nigeria. In the case of Nigeria, there is a kind of a contradiction that you see, and that contradiction is the fact that even the ordinary eyes could see that the integrity of the Nigerian passport over the years, if you are specific about the period taken into consideration in this analysis by Henley, which is from 2006 to 2022, you will find that the Nigerian passport has unquestionably gained more integrity than previously. I say this because we are all aware of an era in Nigeria where an individual could hold up to 2, 3, 4, 5 passports. So it was easy to go to the so-called, Oluwole out there on the island in Lagos and obtain a passport and so on and so forth. These days, it is no longer possible because, there is this biometrics, passport that Nigeria uses. So that has actually, been on the gain side for Nigeria. But then you ask yourself, how can you balance this with this abysmal score that Nigeria has now? Falling from, 62nd place to 100th place, even with this, physical improvement that people could, actually see. Now, in the case of Nigeria, the reason for that fall is nothing more than the insecurity that Nigeria has. And the fact that economically, things have gone from bad to worse in Nigeria, and the Japa syndrome that everybody hears about is very, very high. And we would be naive to think that, when we talk Japa syndrome in Nigeria, that it is just, amongst us Nigerians. No. Our international friends and allies are listening. They know what that means. That every young Nigerian who has not seen perspective in Nigeria wants to, escape from Nigeria, not just for tourist reasons or business reasons. That once they have the opportunity of, leaving Nigeria, they are not likely to come back, constituting a serious problem for them in the country of destination. So these are the major elements that have culminated in this very, very abysmal rating for Nigeria.
So it's basically, a failure of the country itself to grow and to develop and to be better. And these are some of the things that have been looked at because, there's also other African countries. I see South Africa is, above Nigeria's rating. Nigeria is ranked somewhere around, in the same areas with Sudan and the likes. So who then would you, put the blame on? Is this a proper leadership failure and a sign of failure of leadership over the years?
I like the word that you have used there, which is over the years. because, I mean, this is the cumulative effect of bad leadership, leadership that lack focus and foresight in Nigeria. Now, in terms of apportioning blames, obviously, the Minister for the Interiors that is responsible for, passport management and all of that, has done well in terms of actually ensuring that the biometrics passport is a reality and that is working. Of course, we still have issues with availability of passport and all of that. I believe that is being worked on. But the fact that Nigeria has witnessed retrogression when placed side by side the Committee of Nations, which means that, economically, things have gone very bad. Of course, we haven't seen the level of violence, political violence, that marked the previous election. Now, things appear to be going, much better than it was. But there are still a lot of political issues. Young people don't have perspectives anymore. So these are, and then tackling Boko Haram heads on, which was actually what this government promised when they came to power. We know that is far from, accomplished. So these are bits and pieces of what actually led to the situation that Nigeria has found itself. It is not something that was done just by one administration, no. As you can see from the research from Henley, it covers from 2006 to 2022. So while it was better, say, in 2006, in 2022, it has gone worse. So yes, a larger part of that blame could go to the current administration. So one can see that, one can hope rather that when a new administration comes in, it will take a holistic approach, because there is a snowball effect in some of these things that we are talking about, whereby you take one, purposeful action, it affects the economy. Tourism is part of it, because what we're talking about affects tourism and business, and then things begin to work, on their own because they are interconnected.
Is there, you've already mentioned, I was about to ask you what this means, because it's beyond tourism, but yes, you've mentioned that it also affects business and the economy. Are there maybe projections that things might get better, especially as we're looking towards electing a new government into power? And if, things need to get better as regards our passport ratings, what must be done?
Well, what has to be done should not or cannot be just targeting the integrity of Nigerian passport and, trying to look at the areas of failure, based on the Henley report. What has to happen should be holistic. Now, when we say that Nigeria has the ambition of being a tourist destination, a global tourist destination, we also have to take the commensurate actions to make that happen. Because a poor report such as this actually is a disincentive for international travelers. I met recently a young Nigerian, Kolade Ayorinde, who actually developed an app for tourism in Nigeria, which they call Let's Go Nigeria. This is a one-stop, app that helps tourists anywhere you are, from the, from your desktop telephone and all of that, smartphone, to discover tourist destinations in Nigeria. Fantastic, initiative, but it cannot see the light of day if government policy around tourism is so, around the economy, taking steps that will, enhance travel ease to Nigeria and the ease of doing business. You see that that great app, amounts to nothing. So economically also, steps have to be taken to ensure that young people are given a perspective to let them want to stay in Nigeria. They want to travel out,
right,
for purposes other than that, and then they return. So these are the things that build confidence and then will automatically affect, Nigerians' rating on passport issues.
We hope that this happens in the nearest future, not so distant future. Thank you very much, Collins Oweke, for joining us this morning.
My pleasure to be with you. Have a great day.
Have a great day as well.